Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Daredevil the Man Without Fear, issue number 3, cover dated December 1993. This is midway through the 5-issue limited series. The cover is foil and embossed, so we've got the red foil there on Daredevil's costume, which I think you can see, and also embossing there over the cover title, and the figures here below of Elektra fighting this street gang. We'll see what that's all about inside the comic itself. We have the creative team here as well called out on the cover. Frank Miller, writer John Romita Jr., penciler Al Williamson, inker Christy Shield on colors, and Joe Rosen on the letters. I like this cover with the figures of Daredevil and Elektra in costume, even though in the inside story they do not wear the costumes they would later on in their careers as superheroes, and in Elektra's case, an assassin ninja for hire. Let's open this one up to... Oh, by the way, I should say, of course, that the cover is by John Romita Jr. and inked by Al Williamson. And let's open this one up now, and you can see on the inside cover we have the creative team called out once again, and we have a little puff piece there by Ralph Macchio and Pat Garrahy, the editors of the miniseries. We also have a catch-up for anyone who maybe is a new reader to the series, as well as anyone who couldn't remember what happened in the previous issue. And what happened at the end is that Elektra dives off a snowy cliffside, and so here she is falling. No, this is Matt's narration. I like the little detail of her painted toenails, and let's see what happens on the subsequent pages. So there are 32 pages of story and art in this installment of the miniseries. Elektra's falling through the air. I like the way that John Romita Jr. has left that particular panel with no border, so it gives you the sense that there is great depth that she's falling to. She crashes through ice, and Matt dives off in pursuit of her to rescue her. In the icy water, it's numbing cold. He thinks to himself, no scent, no way to find her, running out of air, get one breath, search again. So he comes up to the surface, and he just hears laughter as Elektra drives off in her open-top sports car. And so Matt is in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York. Later, back at the dorm, that was a long walk home. I'm sure he thumbed a lift or two. And there's his roommate, Foggy Nelson. I like the little detail of the fact that he's having an ice cream sandwich there as he pores over his books. And he asks his roommate, Matt, what happened? I went swimming, says Matt. I like that line, the dryness of it. Swimming right with that Elektra girl, says Foggy. She's bad news, Matt. I like the way that Romita Jr. here is drawing drapery, and Matt taking off his sweater, and also the fact that he's unbelted his jeans as well. Just the way that the materials are lying, the drapery, as I said, the folds, it's all really, really well observed and realized in the pencils and inks by Romita Jr. and Al Williamson. So Matt gets into some dry clothes. Foggy says to him, you know, Flint's skiing accident, the one where he broke both his arms? Well, you didn't hear from me, but he didn't get hurt skiing. Buzz told me Flint made a pass at Elektra, and before you knew it, she was laughing, and there he was. So Matt just repeats her name, Elektra, Elektra. You can see his narrowed eyes there. He's determined. He asks Foggy, where does she live? Foggy knows better than to argue when Matt's like this, and so at a residence outside of town, a very well-guarded residence, Matt makes his move. Because, of course, Elektra's father is a diplomat, the Greek ambassador to the US, and so, he's going to have as his ambassadorial residence a very fancy palatial mansion, and it's well-guarded. But Matt, of course, has been trained by Stick up to a point, and he remembers his training here in the first-person narration. Remember what Stick taught you, he tells himself. Your ribs can flex, let them. I always remember that. I haven't tried it myself, but I mean, if I was in an emergency situation, I might remember it and have a go at it. Make no sound as Matt slips between the bars of the gate. There are times when Matt is glad to be blind. People depend on their eyes for almost everything. They miss so much because he's tuned into his other senses. He gives himself a moment to let the air and the smells and the echoing sounds describe the place. Quite a spread. And then Romita Jr. gives us this big establishing shot of the exterior of the mansion with the bandstand, with the parked cars. I love the colours here as well, Christy Shields colours. We have a sense of a dark winter's evening, the snow covering everything, and the light coming out from the large, tall windows of the mansion. Quite a spread. Foggy said Elektra's father is some kind of big shot diplomat, a powerful man. She's probably had it easy all her life. She could use a lesson. So Matt is going to get his own back there, turn around his fair play and all of that. So let's turn the page. So he makes his way sneakily into the house, gets up onto the second story there, over the balcony, crawls along, or rather walks along, edges along an edge here on the front of the mansion, and all the guards are none the wiser, despite no doubt their high pay, her scent. So he makes his way to her bedroom. You can see it's a 4-poster bed there, and he continues thinking in the first person narration. Her room, he soaks it in, lingering here. Rather, I should qualify that. This is third person narration, but what this is called technically is free and direct discourse. So even though it's written in the third person, we are to understand that the language is colored by Matt Murdock's own thoughts. So he sinks it in, lingering here, then there, his senses probing. It is an act as intimate as if he were running his hands over her body. I really like that from Miller in the narration. So many trophies, swimming track, aikido, kendo, karate, first prize every time. Daddy's little girl can fight. Nothing more to find here. Wait, a dog coming. So he hears it, and then he exits her room. No problem. Dogs always love Matt. I love this page turn. Let's turn the page. They always love him. Is he going to give it a nice pat on the head? Turn the page? No. Kicks it in the throat. So it is a guard dog, of course, and it looks like a Doberman. And then, of course, round the corner comes running one of the guards with his Uzi 9mm out. Matt takes care of him, says not a word, notice, and kicks the guard out the window and into the, what would you call this, like the solarium? And inside the solarium, there's music strangely drifting up from below. Elektra, she's at the piano playing a concert piano music, something classical, and I love this detail from Miller, and very, very difficult. But she makes it sound easy. Is there anything she's bad at? She's so accomplished. And now shattering glass, a small sound in a very big room. So remember, in the previous issue, Matt was responsible, it was the first issue. Matt was responsible for a prostitute falling to her death out a window, but he doesn't really have any remorse for kicking the guy who was going to shoot him with an Uzi 9mm out the window and all the way down here. No way is that man going to survive that fall. How could he? But I suppose the convention is that he doesn't die. Somehow he ends up in hospital for 6 months probably, because he falls right on top of the piano. And Elektra, look how flushed she is as well. Love that detail from Christy Shields' art. And the guards are in panic. Who is that guy, says the man who smashed into her piano. She breathes deeply, sharply. He can feel her glance. So Matt, he's up above, and somehow, a sixth sense, he can feel the glance. For a moment, that seems to go on forever. He can't move. Then he has to, because the guards start shooting at him. This is a great panel here. Love the fact that Romita Jr. has chosen to place Matt outside the borders of the panel as well. Gives you a sense of his flight. And of course, one of the great skills of Romita Jr. is to draw characters running, and that's fantastic. You really get a sense of how Matt is sprinting in his sneakers. And then back to Elektra. She's playing at the piano. She's never stopped. And amidst the shouts and gunfire, Matt realizes that she's never stopped playing. And now the music builds towards a crescendo, toward climax. And you can see the sweat on her flushed cheek, and of course there's a double meaning there that would go over the head of a 10-year-old, but for anyone who was a teenager or older, they would well understand the subtext that Elektra here has orgasmed with the excitement of Matt coming to get even with her. And then her father here, this huge Greek man, seal the exits, he orders, find that man, I want to know who sent him and why. Don't worry, dear Elektra, everything's fine, you're safe. And so she demurely says, yes, Papa, and he doesn't know what a bad girl his daughter is. And so the security men are calling each other, and they're saying of Matt, he used some kind of karate move on Paulos, but Paulos got a shot off, tagged him in the arm. He must be bleeding, says Elektra. She's paying attention. Yes, miss, says the head security man. He's losing a lot of blood. He won't get far. So Matt does get far. He runs through the snowy winter night. He has no idea how many times he falls. He crawls deep inside himself through waves of nausea and clammy icy cold. He concentrates, and he finds the strength he needs to make it back. So how many pints of blood has he lost? That's exactly what would happen to a person who's lost 5-6 pints of blood. Nausea, clammy icy cold, dizziness. But he makes it back to the dorm, into the bathroom. He's still pouring blood. Clean the wound, stop the bleeding, stay conscious. So let's see, turn the page. Really like the procedural storytelling here from Romita Jr. He can draw anything. It's simple. We get the repetition of Matt trying to keep himself conscious, trying to focus on the task in hand. Don't go into shock. Clean the wound. Stay conscious. Stop the bleeding. Stay conscious. Ignore the pain. Stay conscious. So he staunches the wound, wraps it, binds it. He lets the outside world back in to feel steam and hear the rush of water, the shower. He's not alone, and it's not foggy. So that's a woman's hand pulling back the shower curtain. A few hours later, Foggy arrives at the dorm room. Yo, Matt, you got a chain on. I can't get in. Open up. So then Matt arrives at the door. He arrives at the door. He's naked, and he's got a dopey grin on his face. Later, as 20 minutes later, Elektra emerges from the room in a fine fur coat. And Foggy, of course, he's nonplussed. Let's turn the page. And here's another little comic moment as well, where you can see that Matt and Elektra made an absolute mess of the dorm room. So Matt, Foggy stammers, Elektra, huh? And I love this line. I've always loved it. Matt there in the aftermath of sexual satisfaction. She's really a very nice girl, Foggy, he says. That's hilarious. But I love this transition too. Where does Elektra go after this? Does she go back to her home with her papa? No. She goes down to Midtown Manhattan, Times Square. And in this era, it's still pretty grimy. You can see here it's suggested in some of the neon signs, including this one for a topless bar, and there's some XXX stuff going on here for the porno theaters as well. And there's a gang of toughs hanging around on the corner, and Elektra is familiar with them, and in her third person indirect discourse, we learn she's heard them brag about what they've done to innocent women, and feeling restless, she lets them see her this time. So Elektra's in control of this situation. She's orchestrating this, even though these idiots have no idea that they're walking into her trap. They deserve what's coming. This is the best she can do, obeying the urge, but not the voices. She's not crazy. The voices are real. She made the mistake of telling Papa about them once. Then came the psychiatrist. They all missed the point. She has to lie to get rid of the psychiatrists and all their stupid questions. The voices are real. So this is interesting from Miller. We never had a sense of this back in his original run on Daredevil in the late 70s, early 80s, that Elektra was potentially schizophrenic. But there is another explanation that's possible, and we'll come to that in due course. So here she is down the blind alley. The gang is behind her. They're boastful. They are looking forward to their fun. Elektra says here she takes off her glasses, I won't scream. She takes off her shoes. Love the little detail there in Romita Jr.'s panel of the fact that she's holding the heel of her boot with her toes as she slips the boot off. That's really well done. That's so thoughtful from John Romita Jr. The man is seeing the story like a film rolling in his head. Let them enjoy themselves while they can as she disrobes from the fine fur coat. And there she is, revealed in her underwear, but it's gym underwear. She never takes the gloves off either. The voices will not be happy about this. They want innocent blood moving across her room, always out of sight, whispering in her ear, raspy like dry leaves. Love that simile. The voices tell her she has a destiny with them. She doesn't like the sound of that destiny, but they do something to her mind. Sometimes she can barely control. And so she risks victims of her own, picks victims of her own. Gentlemen, you aren't frightened, are you? She smiles there. She's in total control. Love the detail of her hair and the tendrils and wisps of it, the strands of it. The gang here are smiling, looking forward to what's coming next. Crazy uptown broad, says one of them. We'll show you fun, says this guy. Yes, show me, she responds. Don't be nice about it. So one of them, he's got a flick knife. They grab her by the arms to restrain her. They cut off her top. Let's turn the page here. So, of course, you know, the expectation is, or rather the subtext here, again, something that might go over the head of a 10-year-old, is that this gang plans to rape her and then kill her. So this is brutal stuff in terms of what is actually going on here. But then, of course, she turns the tables on them. They're not innocent. She knees this guy right in the balls, into the chin. But listen to this. She is fighting to kill. Vertebrae snap. Life leaves this one without a whisper. She breaks his neck. He's dead. So the others, they pull out their weapons. There's even a woman amongst them. And Elektra uses one of the gang members to take the bullets from her gun. This one's body takes the bullets. 2 down so easily. Then she grabs this guy with the hair and throws him towards the woman. Again, great fight choreography from John Romita Jr. Miller has worked with some excellent storytelling artists like John Romita Jr., also David Mazzucchelli, also Dave Gibbons. All three of those superb storytellers, amazing fight choreography, all three of them can produce in their work, and in particular in the collaborations with Miller. Like Miller himself in his prime, a supreme fight choreographer in comics, but those three, amazing. And John Romita Jr., is he the best of them all? Like, as I've said before, his direction of the storytelling, he's like a top film director in the way he does it. Everything flows and connects so well. So here comes the big guy with the chain. Elektra stabs this guy right in the gut. He's there bleeding out. That's a fatal wound. The one with the chain calls her an indescribable name. She hopes he will prove to be a challenge. I love the fact that, Elektra, this highly educated woman, never curses, and she has a kind of priggish disdain for foul language as well. That's a great little detail of her character. And also the blood dripping from her gloved hand there too. She doesn't want to break a nail with all of this. But he's just big and strong and stupid. So she grabs the chain, kicks him in the gut. But listen to this. Her foot cuts through the meat of him like a knife. If Papa could see this, he would never forgive her. The one with the gun, more rude language. She's still cursing as the chain turns her wrist to pulp. And then this is brutal. Maybe this is the most brutal moment because, of course, this is a woman here. Then it's a simple matter of shoving sharp bone into soft brain. A novice could do it. Only the big one remains. Elektra hates the smell of his sweat. So she grabs him by the throat with his own chain and snaps his neck. A few last gurgling sounds and the alley goes quiet. And the commotion has woken this drunken homeless person at the back of the alley. What amazing fight sequence here. And notice too, different from Elektra playing the piano earlier, she doesn't break a sweat. She doesn't even get flushed. This is simple for her. First prize in Aikido, Kendo, Karate. These thugs never had a hope. Big and stupid as they all were. It takes the police a full 20 minutes to arrive. Elektra hails a cab. So she sticks around as the implication for the arrival of the police. Now she's flushed. She's enjoying what she's done subsequently. And the police arrive. We get a lovely top-down angle of the alley. And this this is comical. This is macabre and comical. It is grand guignol. It is like Tarantino-esque in a way. And look what she's done here. She's bashed the big guy's head against the wall, and then with his blood painted "I love New York." And the cops are questioning the homeless man, and he says simply, "I was drunk." "Man, we got 5 dead here," says the NYPD officer. And his compatriot says, "Look at this. Whoever aced these guys got one damn strange sense of humor." And Elektra's in the back of the cab going back to her father's house. It was a disappointing workout. It's so much better with Matt in the campus gym at night in secret. So here they are, balletic movements. She's happy and so is Matt. Perhaps a little too happy, but that's his problem, because there he is beaming in class. Doesn't even hear the professor asking him a question. And let's turn the page. But he gets a visitor one night, and it's still winter, and the snow is falling down in the night. A surprise visit, and it's Stick. Stay away from her, kid, he says. He's got his staff pointed right at Matt's throat there. "Shut up and listen," he says to Matt. "That girl is poison. She's on her way to the worst side, and she'll drag you down with her. It's bad enough. You failed me. I won't have you joining the enemy. I'll kill you first. So stay away from Elektra." And Matt begins to protest. "You can't tell me what to." But a jab at his throat, and the world goes white and silent. And when he wakes, Matt can only wonder, was it a dream? Yes, it had to be a dream. How could Elektra be evil? He asks himself. And then it's nighttime again, so all of their trysts are at nighttime. The winter. I love this establishing shot here of the snowy hill. They're enjoying skiing. And of course, Elektra's in the lead, and they ski all the way down to this cabin. His wild, his laughing, dancing playmate. That's who Elektra is for Matt. His wild, reckless, passionate lover. But can it last? Let's turn the page. So here they are, before a roaring fire. They've got champagne on ice. And Elektra says to Matt, "You never ask me any questions, Matt. You don't really know me. You're something I don't deserve, something I can't keep. If I could have stopped myself, I never would have come to you. It was wrong." So she's got a conscience, and of course that plays into Daredevil issue 190. She is capable of redemption in the future. Matt says to her, "You're everything I need, Elektra, everything I've ever wanted." And she replies, "I killed 5 men last week." So she's being honest with him. Love the colouring here on the back of Elektra's hair and shoulder there from Christy Shield. It's all really well done. Actually, one of them was a woman, she clarifies. And of course, Matt doesn't believe her. Doesn't believe her one bit. "Don't talk crazy," he says. And then she rests her head in her hands, not looking at him. "No, of course you can't believe me. I'm tired." And like a cat, she sleeps. And Matt says to her, "I love you, Elektra." And there is no "I love you" in return. And then one day, so cold it turns tears to ice. It's the funeral of her father. He's killed in the course of that abduction attempt. But there's an implication here that others were involved and behind it. The voices, they had to show me what I am. So our Elektra says here, "Do you see now, Matt? I loved Papa, and so he died. He had to die. I was a part of him. They killed him to show me this. The voices, they had to show me what I am. But I won't take you with me. You would end up dead or worse. I will do this much right. I will leave you. I will go to hell alone." So my kind of conjecture is, were the Hand using a telepath in order to manipulate Elektra? in order to manipulate her to kill so that she would come over as an adept. The only two adepts born in their generation, Matt Murdock and her, Elektra, that she would come over to the hand. Or is she schizophrenic? Which is it? It's undecidable, yes? There's no persuading her, no changing her mind, no way to make her explain. There was only one last minute of hungry fire, and she's gone. In time he will learn of the war that both she and Stick are part of. In time they will meet again. But for now, he's only a young man with a broken heart. A young man once again punished for letting his wild part run free, for breaking the rules. And there's the prostitute who was knocked unintentionally, inadvertently out the window of the brothel towards the end of issue number 1. So, Matt, having had his turbulent affair with Elektra, and she's gone, and we long-time readers know where she ends up subsequent to this, and that story is told in issue 190 of Daredevil by Frank Miller. So you can check that out in my back catalogue of reviews on the channel if you haven't ever read it before. And then the last 3 pages, the scene switches. Matt's old neighborhood, Hell's Kitchen, a summit conference of the leaders of the Manhattan underworld. So these are Italian mafia. The boss here is Rigoletto, and he is defiant that his operation will not move into disreputable rackets. "Shut up, all of you," he exclaims. "We will not murder children. We will not cater to unholy perversions. We will not infect our neighborhoods with crack cocaine. We stick to the old rackets. We may be criminals, but we're not monsters. Now get out of here, all of you," he exclaims. And so out they go. And of course there's shades of Vito Corleone in the characterization of Rigoletto here. And then he's not alone in the boardroom. And he sits back, loosens his tie. "My friend, I need your hands." These huge hands come up behind his shoulders. And the man continues speaking. The mob boss Rigoletto, "Yes, that's perfect. I do have a headache. You always know, don't you? My silent, nameless friend. Damn them all. They'd kill me if they had the chance. You're the only one I can trust." And just at that point, the hands twist and snap his neck. And I love the little detail of plucking the rose from his buttonhole. Let's turn the page. Who could this be? Take a guess. The Kingpin, of course. There he is. He's got his diamond ring on him, his no doubt Rolex gold watch. He's well suited. We have an upshot there. He looks proud. He looks absolutely indomitable. He has waited for years, this killer, quietly making the proper connections, building a silent consensus. Soon that consensus will be an unshakable stranglehold. They will obey him or die. He will rule this city as the Lord of Crime, the Kingpin. And he opens back the curtains and we look out over New York City at night, the Kingpin of New York. To be continued, and we get a little preview of the cover to the next issue. So it looks like the pencil art there from John Romita Jr. before Al Williamson inks it. And the back cover, the cover is cardstock back and front. We have that panel of Matt waking up in the middle of the night. Now it's in red. And when he wakes, Matt can only wonder, was it a dream? Yes, it had to be a dream. How could Elektra be evil? There you go. I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on the middle chapter of the 5-issue limited series, Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. Absolutely 10 out of 10 work by the whole creative team, and in particular, of course, Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. Talk about a absolutely 100% synergistic collaboration between writer and artist. It's right here in this series. Excellent, top-notch stuff. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section. If you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like and share the video. It really does help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.